Hello, I'm FX Toycat, and everybody wants a smithing template, but your odds of getting silenced sure aren't great. The odds are so slim, you might think to look for the most common trim, but that will take you to a shipwreck, and honestly, the coastal trim just isn't so good. So what is the best balance between beauty and rarity? I think it's this trim, especially if your goal is to have a full set of matching armor as soon as possible, and there's one simple reason why, and it's because you don't need to look around aimlessly or use a seed checker. You can use a built-in item to find it, the Eye of Ender. This is the only structure for which it's true. I mean, technically speaking, you can trade for a Woodland Explorer map, and you can also trade for an Ocean Explorer map, but these are also just opportunities to get potentially a trim, whereas the Eye of Ender guarantees trims. And yeah, if you're in a normal world, you can just throw this from somewhere close to your spawn, but if you have a long-term world, you can actually use your end portals in a clever way, and let me show you what I mean, by going thousands of blocks through the Nether. If you're not familiar with this world, it is very, very large. To get all of the armor trims, I've had to explore a lot, but also besides that, just to find things for various curiosities, this world has gotten huge. It's over a gigabyte large at this point, and that results in lots of interesting things, but travel times is one of the downsides. Seriously, I have to travel so far that I've actually built this giant pathway just so I can use horses in the Nether, but even that is not necessarily as fast as it could be, because there's one form of travel that's instant that we'll be using today, and if you want to do the same, just find the part of your world that you wish you had faster travel to, or at the very least faster travel from. In this case, this is my village that is very, very far away. It's where I've got my mending villager, as this sign says. So what I want to do is I want to go as close to the point of interest as possible, and then throw your Eye of Ender from there. For the average player, you probably only need a single Eye of Ender or two if you just want the trim, but if you're looking to use the portal, you'll need to have at least 10 or 12, and so once you're in the place you want to find an end portal, you throw an Eye of Ender. You might be traveling for thousands of blocks, especially the further out you go from spawn, but if you're lucky, you won't have to do that, and ultimately, you don't use that many Eye of Enders to find out, because all we have to do is head in this direction until we've traveled more than 1,000 blocks or we hit a village. Interestingly, the Minecraft wiki says only the closest free end portals are found under villages, but in my experience, you can often find further ones out, all the way out under there, and so it's worth just, throwing this and going along the line of the Eye of Ender as long as you can. By the way, this right here is the village I destroyed to add to my mending village, so it's a bit of a weird place, minus all of the blocks. I should do something with this, right? Do you have any ideas? I'd love to hear them, but for now, keep going this direction until you find something that you have to stop for. Wow, another village just behind the other village I destroyed? This is a convenient place to find lots of villages, huh? Wait, no, if it's a village, that means we have to quickly confirm, is this a village with an end portal below it? If it is, this will be really convenient, so let's throw the Eye of Ender and pray. I don't think it's going that way. Yep, over there it goes. So this is not a village with an end portal below it, but it is a place to stop for the night. So, villages are also useful for your journey for that reason. They give you food in the form of hay bales, and they'll also give you a nice bed to sleep in. Wait, sorry, did I say this was a nice bed to sleep in? Because look at the color of that. Ugh. I'm disgusted. A white bed? Who do they think I am? Anyway, so now we're going to continue going on this way until we've traveled 1,000 blocks, or we hit an NPC village, which it looks like we have, and it also looks like this is going way in the wrong direction. Which means you do one last confirmatory poll if you've got some spares, but if you have Eye of Enders in short supply, what I'd recommend doing instead is just go and dig underneath it, because worst case scenario, you don't find something, but best case scenario, you just do. I think it's likely I find something under here, but since I've got these spare Eye of Enders, you go to the other side of the village, you throw another one, and if it goes in that direction, like we expect, then boom, now we know. Please don't die on me. Okay, it didn't. Perfect. Now, find the closest thing you can to the center of the village. I guess this bell is gonna have to count, and then dig straight down. I would recommend digging straight down like this, but honestly, if you dig straight down and you end up in lava, how bad even is that? I mean, besides losing all your stuff and dying and having to travel thousands of blocks again, what are even the downsides? So yeah, if you dig down in the middle of 2 blocks, you can never end up in lava accidentally, which is handy. Alternatively, just have a water bucket. That seems to work pretty well. I've always felt like there must be some interesting lore explanation for why you find strongholds below villages. Like, do they set up their villages deliberately above strongholds, or do strongholds deliberately set themselves up below villages? Which way around is it? Who knows for sure? The stronghold is definitely the older one, so some villages have some attraction to that, it seems. Speaking of attraction, have we found a stronghold? No, we have not. Oh, yes, we have. Okay, it's a deep slate stronghold. It's down at these layers. And now here's the wonderful thing about this place. So this is actually the start of the stronghold. If you ever see like stone on one wall and then a staircase down, you've probably got the starting room. From here, you can find a lot of stuff, but in our case, immediately chests. Every one of these altar chests has a 10% chance of giving you the end trim, which sounds really bad on its own, right? I mean, 10% is really low, but let me tell you why it's actually really good. Reason number one is you can find a lot of them, and so, wow, have we got a free diamond? Yes, we have. Seriously, there are so many of these things lying around the place. You can often find 4, 5, or 6 of them per stronghold, so you've almost got a guaranteed trim just from those alone, but then there's something even better that I'm just currently looking for. Well, this is certainly not what I was talking about, but it counts for something. This happens so often in the Bedrock edition. If you're playing Minecraft that just says Minecraft at the top, you can find a bunch of gunpowder for free, you can find a name tag, and oh wow, yeah, this is a decent amount of gunpowder, and even saddles, as well as making an XP farm if you really feel like it. I always recommend, by the way, when you're in these rooms, digging through the walls just in case there's something on the other side. These are the most broken, or most oftenly broken rooms, and sometimes you find stuff, and sometimes you look like a crazy man swearing that you could find stuff on the other sides, but either way, it's worth doing. Finally, we've got the star of the show, the library room. These have so many great things in them. One of them is a free access point for bookshelves. Use a silk touch axe and you'll get bookshelves back, or use a fortune shovel and you'll get, you know, honestly, it's just free books. I feel like fortune should get you more than free books back, but that's, I guess, a different point. But then every single one of these chests will have a 100% chance of an eye trim. Why is 100% so great? Well, let me tell you, 100% is a guaranteed chance of finding an eye trim, and there are always 2 chests in each of these rooms. Actually, you know, I say always, there's always, ignoring bugs, which is actually a significant part of the time, especially in a stronghold. But if we go up here, you can see there is a second chest. This one's a little better hidden away. And if we go into this one, 100% chance of the eye armor trim again, as well as this book with Frostwalker channeling power, punch, and lore. You get incredible enchanted books here, as well as just regular books, I guess, as well as a bunch of paper, should you want it. Personally, I find bookshelves to be such an expensive thing to craft. I find books to be expensive to craft, and so if you want to just get your hands on a bunch of them quite easily, this is the place for it. I'll leave the side ones in there, but having the middle ones gone makes a big difference and also gives you a big space to build in if you really want it. But here's the great thing, you don't just find one library per stronghold, one is the guaranteed minimum, or at least it's meant to be, we'll ignore bugs, but the great thing is you might be able to find a second. Okay, that's definitely not a library. But this certainly is, that's right, a second library room. On the way to finding this and getting my third eye trim, by the way, I did have to use the technique of digging through walls, and it went less successfully than I figured. Aha! Oh man, I thought I found something by digging through the walls, but it's an empty corridor. Oh, this one isn't though. The second time led me nowhere too, but it was a nice idea. Anyway, I've got myself 3 eye trims now from a single stronghold, and you know what it's about to be? It's about to be a 4th one, because there is always 100% chance of finding them in these libraries. I actually really like this as a mechanic. It does seem also, what is this map going to take me to? I'm not going to load it up, but I really like this idea of a mechanic, because ultimately it means these library rooms have a second important function, and so now when you're looking around the stronghold, you're looking for 3 specific rooms, you're looking for the 2 libraries, and hopefully also the end trim. Also, can we just pray this one also has? It doesn't. But yeah, you're looking around specifically for all those 10% chances, but even if you can just find the 2 libraries, you are coming out very far ahead. Also, this is a whole new section. Maybe it leads me to... Okay, no, it doesn't. Wait, this isn't a end portal room, but it is a block of raw iron, which means I might have just found my first ever vein of iron. This is a thing they introduced in 1.18 where you could find iron and I think maybe gold and copper also in super large veins, but I've just never found one in my world. They're not that common, but look at this. It's a raw iron block. These only generate naturally as part of veins, as best I understand, and look at the amount of iron around here. Oh yeah, I think I'm on for something. That's exciting. Okay, see, this is why I love to explore my world. This is why I think the exploration update is such a genius idea, or trails and tales as they call it. It's because of the fact that it encourages you to look around your world where maybe you'll find some stuff you know, from previous updates you just never found before because it's kind of rare. Look at how many iron ores there are down here. Okay, this is incredibly important. I'm gonna bring myself a cracked stone brick pathway from here to the end portal room, wherever that ends up being. I'm gonna have to probably make this quite clear. We'll dig through these walls here. There we go, that's good. place a block over there, and just really hopefully find a link between the two things. This is a weird stronghold, by the way. You're not meant to find this many rooms that are just fountains connected to nothing, but I guess it's valuable to have water underground. I've learned that lesson the hard way. Oh, this is another lesson that I'm learning the easy way. I hate that you have to mine the silverfish spawner. I want to make real use of one day, but today is not that day. Instead, let's mine it, and let's say that, boom, this is why you want your 12 IFenders, because you can immediately activate a portal. This is pretty cool by itself, because it means you can go to the end, but if this is your second or more end portal, these seem pointless. Like, I already have an end portal close to spawn, but the reason I've just made a second one right here is because now I'll be able to access the end from other parts of my world, which crucially means I'll be able to go back to my last sleeping point, which was actually that village not that far away, so maybe not that useful, but you can go back to your latest sleeping point very quickly via the end portal. Now all I have to do is make note of these coordinates, and I'll be able to come right back here from above and dig down, assuming that I did sleep in a village somewhat nearby. I really don't know the last time that I slept. So yeah, coming through your end is now a really easy task because you can walk right through what is definitely a normal end. This is what everyone's end looks like. You can also come here and do anything else that you've stored, so you can have a giant storage room in the end. I'd recommend not on the main island, but you know, do your own thing if you really want to. But either way, you can come out here and you can take full advantage of, say, let's say you have a bunch of, oh, I have one ender pearl. Have I, is that the, oh, there we go. Okay, I've got lots of ender pearls, which means I can make lots of IFenders, which means I can go to lots of strongholds, etc., etc. Yeah, there we go. I knew I had, I knew I had ender pearls somewhere in my world. I just didn't know where, and now I do. I also have an enchantment table that could probably do with a bit of a tune-up, so should I place some blocks over here, maybe? Do you think that would help? Maybe just a little bit? I'm not sure. I'll place a few blocks, just make it look as pretty as I can, given the circumstances. And then let's bounce out of here, back to the overworld. Ah, I slept in the village directly above the stronghold. See, this is actually really convenient because my coordinates were 2384 minus 2412. If you don't know, on Bedrock, they're always in the top left. On Java, you have to press F3 and get the nightmare screen up. But yeah, all you have to do is follow these coordinates that Past Me has graciously given me, and boom, look at that. 2384 is over here somewhere. And now we'll dig ourselves a nice 3x3 pit. I would ideally dig this directly above the portal, but I think just a nice 3x3 hole is going to be nice now. Something easy for me to fly down later, or climb up later, whichever way I want to do it. Actually, you know what? 2x3. It's not 2x3 for any reason besides I started digging that way, and it will look slightly more interesting, I think. Remember, when digging down in Minecraft, always dig right down. Don't worry about any lava you might find. I mean, what's gonna happen? Is the lava gonna burn you? I don't think so, except maybe it might. I'm not held liable if it does. But yeah, it's real easy. Which means we now have a direct access point to the surface, which is kind of cool by itself. I mean, it's very little effort to dig a tunnel of a small size, but it does a lot for you, and apparently gives you a lot of blocks I can't pick up because poor inventory management. But still, isn't that nice? Actually, we can fix this since I was already gonna be taking these cracked stone bricks anyway. Oh, it's literally 2 rooms away. That is perfect, by the way. But yeah, since we already were gonna use these, and since there is a library in the area anyway, we can go in here, break the chest, hopefully pick up all the goodies from it. Okay, pick up most of the goodies from it, and then throw a diamond on the ground. No, throw a campfire on the ground. Nope. Throw this book temporary. Oh, throw 2 planks on the ground. Perfect. And now I've got a nice, easy, convenient place which I can put all of the garbage that I've just picked up right into there. And boom. Hopefully not all of it made it into the end, although I imagine quite a lot of it did. But still, look at that. All of the garbage in one place. Always a good thing to have. Because honestly, some of this isn't necessarily garbage. You might want this at some point in your life. And if you have inventory management chronic issues like I do, then it's useful to see that there's something here for you. And now we can make a nether portal just nearby. I always recommend flying into the sky because you'll see anything bright, which is usually a lava pit or a ruined portal with crying obsidian apparently. And whoa, okay, it's definitely the second one. We could just obviously place it right here, but I reckon we'd be better off just taking this obsidian and moving it just over here in front of the big hole. This big hole is now going to be easy access to the end if I want it from the nether, which is there for the rest of my world, or it can just be an easy point for me to get to this village. Either way is going to be very easy, assuming the linking works correctly. That's always a big if when it comes to Minecraft, especially Bedrock, but look at this. On the other side, I am somewhere, which is all I need to know for now. And boom, there we go. This portal is now my end portal, but obviously I need to make easy access to it, so you just gotta mine a couple hundred blocks, maybe a tunnel, maybe you can work out, just, you know, place a breadcrumb trail. Whichever way you need to do it, doesn't really matter too much. All that matters in the end is that ultimately you have an easy path. Oops. Anyway, all that matters in the end is that you have an easy path that you can easily link up to the rest of the world, and you'll be able to see at a moment's notice. I think so many people just assume like, oh yeah, I'll remember that. Oh, about so much in their world. But ultimately, remembering things is hard, and so it's better to have something very clear that can mark where a portal is. Wait, I'm gonna need some different blocks to make this path actually make some more sense, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my end, which, by the way, can be easily accessed via the Nether now. I just go through this portal, pray that it links correctly on this side and doesn't have piglins, then we jump right down into this, and oh, there's only one block that actually lines up correctly. Oh, and wow, here I am in the end where I could mine some blocks if I wanted to. Wait, I missed a really crucial step. I haven't. Okay, so make sure that you sleep somewhere near home last, or just break the last bed that you slept in. If you break the last bed that you slept in, even if you replace it in the exact same place, now when you try to go through the end portal, it'll take you back to your world spawn, in my case, 6,000 blocks away for free. Woo, there we go. Nice and simple. From here, I can put my eye trims in my big chest. I'm trying to collect 4 of every copy of trims, and so to have a bunch of these spare is great, because that means that I can use one right now if I want to. And don't you think that's great? This is a really cool little, you know, tiny improvement I've made. I think until I do all of the trimming, I just like the idea of having something really subtle. The eye armor trim looks a lot less subtle if you go for a full set of it, but I think that this is a really nice miniature little flex, which is something that I like. I like the, you know, kind of subtle stuff in life sometimes, because, you know, if you have too much bling on you, it looks like you're trying too hard. If you just have a couple of cool diamond bits, yeah, I went and got myself some trims. I went all the way to the end. It wasn't too hard though, don't worry about it. I think there's something much nicer about that. Anyway, I will be making 64 different armor pieces of trims in my next Let's Play episode. Right now, I'm still waiting on one last Big Trail Ruins brush, because I need to go through a lot of those. I'll be doing it in a live stream, I assume. I'll be getting a lot of each of these trims, and then I'll be able to duplicate the rest. It's going to cost me over 200 diamonds, even though I've got so many of each copy, but it's going to be worth it, because I'll be able to have a full set of every single trim, which will be so cool to see in a real, legit survival world. It's one of my big 1.20 goals, and I'm super close to achieving it, hopefully by next Let's Play episode. While I'm here, I can also put away some of my enchanted books. I really regret not labeling these when I put them in. I figured it'd be so obvious what this is and this one, etc. I know this is efficiency. That has to be Smite, maybe, and Feather Falling. You know, I don't know what any of this is, but I do know that this one's Fawns, because it is the one I decided to label. So Fawns 2 goes right there, and this is the start of my giant collection. Okay, I really do have to say, every time I see my character in the top left, I really like that nice little diamond. I think the best way to trim armor is one tiny subtle trim, and I don't even think I'm being sarcastic. I really love just that tiny little touch that it adds to armor. Anyway, we're going over to where I have an end portal, and I'm going to make it as clear as possible that this is the portal for an end portal. I mean, it can also be a portal for other things, but this is something I've started doing recently, and I think it's a really nice little touch. Putting some dark oak wood outside a woodland mansion, or putting some cherry trees but made out of pink wood outside of a regular one. I just love the idea of making each of these nether portals slightly themed, so that I know without any, you know, like extra clarification what's going to be on the other side. And I think something as simple as this really does the job. This is the way to the end. Probably actually shouldn't cover these blocks right there. I think I like that a little bit more. And then we put some slabs over there, and then it looks like we've done something somewhat artistic. Actually, you know, put some slabs there even. And boom, yeah, I like that too. So this is a very ugly, very rough cut, but honestly, the Nether can be your place where you can build uglily. Everyone does a lot of work in the overworld to making it look super pretty and connected, but the Nether is meant to be an ugly place, so there's no pressure on you to make it nice. It's meant to be a functional link between dimensions, and you can make it fun and great later if you really want to, but having an easy way to get around it is something that is very important, and so that is why I'm going to make a nice little pathway using end brick slab maps wherever I can, just to make it as clear as day for future me. This is the funny thing, like, when it comes to design, a lot of people talk about, like, designing accessibly so that the most people can appreciate something. But I think one of the most valuable things Minecraft teaches you is that future you has no idea what current you is doing, because there's so much that you can be thinking while you're playing Minecraft. You know, you can be playing it and be thinking like, well, you know, why is it that we call them NPC villagers when we don't call villagers NPC villagers anymore? We just call them villagers. Are they even NPC villagers? Or is that one of those old school terms? You can start thinking about stuff like that and then totally forget, like, okay, what was the point of all of this anymore, actually? And so now we need to make this pathway very easily connect up to over here, where I believe, okay, so it's a direct diagonal line, which means we just have to place a few end stone brick slabs just to make it kind of apparent that this is in fact the right way. But yeah, I think that is one of those valuable lessons that you can have, is that future you is going to be confused by something. So how do you design something so that someone who has no clue what you're thinking right now can do it? Maybe you're meant to have such good memory that when you see something from, you know, 6 months ago in your Minecraft world, you remember exactly why you did it. But I don't think that is a guarantee that everyone will be like that, and that's why I would recommend, at least a little bit, design things so that someone who is a stranger could appreciate them, which funnily enough does come up more in this world than any other. Oh yeah, we gotta really watch out for the gas. But you know, design something so that someone who isn't you can understand it, because at some point you are going to change. The beauty of, you know, like one of the beautiful things about the fact that we're changing every day is that, you know, we change very slightly every single day. Every time you wake up, it's a new you who wakes up, not the old you, in a weird kind of way. But, okay, so we need to make sure this curves, like, round the mountain. So we need to make clear that we're going, like, this way a little bit, and then from there, diagonally across. Boom. See, now just following this gives me such a clearer direction than if I didn't have it. And again, you could do something much prettier and less crude, but I think this does the job. And I also pray... No, you can't. Okay. I bet if you just time that better, you totally could. But now all we have to do is make that a little easier by placing some blocks on this side. See, just like that, one extra block. Makes a little path that I can jump from. And then just in case that's not good enough, all we have to do on this side is place some blocks down, I guess. That's actually a lot easier said than done, but we can place a block down, place one of these from it, and then now we got a slightly easier landing point. We can make it a big landing point, maybe. So that way, I can guarantee I make the gap, and then I just have to go through this thing at a sprinting speed, and boom, now the entire pathway is easy. I could also make sure this connects over to the portal that is most close to it, so over there, but that is now my easy way to connect the world. And what's this, by the way? I could go home by going through my nether, it'd be a whole pain, or I can get back home to do the final important part of the Let's Play by going through my end, which I will do today. So, yeah, I absolutely love you know, it's a weird thing, but the older you get, the more you realize the things that are kind of not dull, but like harder to focus on and put your brain to interest on are the things that you need to find the time to do the most. I think, you know, recently I've been working on my garden. If you don't know, I live in London, so having a garden always like a weird thing to me. But I have a garden, and so it's like, oh, I've got to like do some stuff. I've got to actually like cleaning it, and then you got to like do some stuff. The soil, it takes a lot of work just to have a garden. And to me, it's like, well, this is dumb. I don't really care about looking at grass. And if I want to look at grass, there's a bunch of public grass that you don't have to put effort in. You can just enjoy looking at it. But yeah, the fun thing to me has been like, oh, actually, there is a certain joy in doing it. So like making a little bit of time to do some basic gardening has actually led to a small well-being increase. It's really hard to, you know, like maybe this is different if you grow up in a country where big gardens and, you know, like spending time in them is a normal thing. But to me, it's like, it's just a thing you have. It's like some space that, the biggest benefit of a garden is like a tiny bit of space between you and the outside world. I never saw that, like, actually, you could enjoy the place out there. You could have a place that you'd want to be in, and that's kind of fun to me. Speaking of fun to me, there is something that is absolutely crucial to every single Let's Play, and that is the cursed build of the week. This is a fun, I guess, running segment we're going to be doing for a little bit, because I wanted to have a reason as to why I have this closed off area, so I've made this secret little bookshelf. I did that in the last Let's Play episode. I think it's a fun little mechanic. It's very basic, but it's still kind of cute to me. But yeah, we're going to go through here, and we're going to build something a little cursed every single week. Here's my cursed enchantment table set up, and so I guess, to tie it into this you know, episode's particular theme, we're going to make ourselves a cursed portal set up. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So we're just gonna build some stairs first. Yep, that looks good to me. And then we're gonna have, actually, can we work it that way? Whatever, we're gonna make it work. And then we have some stones that come off the top of that. See, this is very much what an end portal looks like. You can trust me. And then we're gonna realize we're coming very close to the edge, but that's perfectly fine. And then there we go, that's an end portal. But I think I can do a better job than just saying, yep, this is the end portal, because I feel like the best way to make this realistic would be to go into my little shulker box, grab myself some sticks, maybe a lot of sticks, and then find a crafting table. You know, this is the only part of my world I don't have a crafting table in, and I seriously regret it. Oh, it's lightninging! Okay, sorry, I was about to go get some crafting tables, but something huge has just happened that I have to take advantage of right now. I have been looking for the piglin head as one of my last remaining 1.20 items, and if I want to get my hands on one, now is the opportunity. Lightning is so rare in my world, and so I need to go to the dark part of the world. I've lit it all up otherwise, and I need to get a creeper to spawn right now. So there we go, that's a creeper. Is it lightninging? No! How does that keep happening to me? How is that even? Okay, well, we tried. How is it lightninging for literally 3 seconds and then stopping? That is not the first time that's happened, and I fear it won't be the last. Is lightninging even a word, by the way? I'm sure it is. Anyway, the silly thing I was gonna do was place crafting tables kind of all over the place, you know, have one over here, have one right over there, have one near the center. I was gonna place crafting tables in every conceivable place, but now it seems kind of silly. Anyway, so now we can build ourselves some item frames. We can also make them all specifically glow item frames, and we can make some eye offenders, because look at this. By the way, the one benefit of me leaving was that I actually got a better block. I was gonna use just some, like, I don't know, obsidian in the middle here, but I think skulk is a much better fit, right? Look at this. This is a complete end portal. If I just put my eye offenders around it, I think I just threw one. Where did it go? Oh, I've got a stronghold over there. I should really do something about that, huh? But yeah, if we just place the last of our glow item frames down, making sure the eyes are in the right place, of course, then boom, look at that. Isn't that convincing? Do you like my do you like my end portal? I like my end portal. It does have one thing missing, which is why when I was in the spruce village earlier, I specifically took a campfire and I can use it for this. Look at that. Now it looks like a real end portal, right? I could probably make this just a little bit nicer by 1, removing that block. Is that a little more convincing? And then 2, making the whole slope just 1 extra block up. I think there's 4 blocks to a staircase like this normally, so if we do that, I think it'll look a bit better. But this is my cursed end portal, part of the cursed room of silly things that I have in this world. Anyway, speaking of silly things that I have in this world, I hope you've all enjoyed this particular episode of the Update Adventures. My next one is going to be... Also, wait. Before you leave the place, very important you shut the secret door. Make sure secrets don't get out. But, yeah, the cursed building, very much underway. But, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the Let's Play. The next one's going to be a huge one, so make sure you stay tuned for Monday, where I get a copy of every single one of these. I do think I'll continue to wear just these eye trims on my diamond, my Netherite helmet, but I do love the idea anyway. And also, at some point, we clearly need to get round to making sure that these are all super nice. And so that is what I'll be doing, labeling a lot of enchanted books at some point soon. But you know what that is? That's future Toycat's problem. Current Toycat's problem is letting you know that you can subscribe to the channel to see more episodes of the Let's Plays. I hope you all enjoyed this presumably shorter episode, but I have no clue what it actually is like. And I'll see you, because it took me just as long to record. I just assumed less of it made into the final cut. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy the video. Hope you enjoy your life, because I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. That's video, not life, but maybe in the next life. You know, if you subscribe, if you become a channel member, you actually get to watch my videos in the next life. That's probably true. I mean, what the next life is probably up for interpretation, but so is this outro. Bye.
It's Canada Day, so I'm doing the most Canadian thing I can and petting a Canadian goose. People say these guys are mean, but I love them. I bet one would let me pick it up even. Oh, no, they would not. They would not.